of us who opposed it to make things worse. And here we are now, almost 3.5 years later, and all of those things are coming to fruition. There are headlines every day. There are 5.5 million people who got their policies canceled. Costs are going up. Deductibles and copays are going up. Networks and access to physicians and hospitals are going down. One piece of that is when you create a benefit package that is so broad and cannot be tailored much more so to the individual needs of families, you're seeing costs go up even higher.
Absolutely. Costs, deductibles, it's insane after we were promised not only you could keep your health insurance if you like it, you could keep your doctor if you like him, but your costs will go down $2,500 a family. I mean, families who are going on, individuals who are going on are getting, I mean, you know, they say sticker shock and it's kind of become a very, innocuous term, but this is frightening for a lot of people now.
Well, I think it's a reasonable criticism to say that every time there's been an initiative that the president has put out there that has been unsuccessful, the president and the Democrats and their advisors have simply said it's a messaging problem. And they refuse to believe that the policies that they have been promoting are actually failing. And one thing that is so different about healthcare policy compared to, let's say, foreign policy is that it really touches the lives of so many Americans on a day-to-day basis. And the more they talk, the worse it seems, because they continually make promises that when people just open their eyes or open their mail, they're identifying as not actually true.
Yeah. All right, doctor. Now, what does this mean for also small businesses? I mean, small businesses are going to get hit really hard with this this EHB, correct?
Right. Well, one of the issues with this grandfather clause saying that if your policies changed in any substantive way after March of 2010, when the law was signed, that those policies have to be redone. And in the Obama administration's own filings for court cases, they've really identified that there's really up to 100 million policies that may even be at risk. I think they said that number, up to 2/3 of all the policies. And small businesses are already getting killed. Regulations go up. Small businesses do not have the luxury of having a stable of attorneys and accountants at their beck and call to try to navigate through these difficulties. And healthcare is becoming just another one of those issues. And what is going to happen, and what are we seeing happening, is already the trend towards fewer small employers offering healthcare benefits to their employees. We are in the process of seeing that trend rapidly escalate.
Yeah, and we're talking right now to Dr. Eric Novack, orthopedic surgeon, here on the Steve Malzberg Show. He co-authored a piece with Senator John Kyle at in the Washington Times the other day, talking about tossing Obamacare anchored to small businesses. So that's small businesses. But you mentioned 100 million people. Do you agree? Do you believe that at this point next year, people who have employer-driven or provided insurance policies, even not small business, but big companies, that we're all going to be in the same boat? I mean, that 80 to 100 million of us might lose that?
Well, I think what we can say with certainty is that assuming that the law is actually being implemented as Congress passed it, and it's the president's duty to actually implement, that a huge number in the many tens of millions will see significant disruptions in the way they access health care than they've been doing up until this point. Yeah. And that is why the president arbitrarily has been changing these deadlines and rewriting the law, because they're actually realizing that, you know what, if we actually implement what we said, it's going to be a disaster. So they keep kicking the can down the road, and they're hoping that if they can introduce these bad provisions and bad policies one at a time, that somehow people won't notice. What we are seeing is that is not the case.
I'm sorry, we have less than a minute. You say in your piece, if this isn't tossed out as unconstitutional, do you think that there's a chance in this? Another court here in New York just ruled that a bunch of Catholic schools do not have to follow the mandate on birth control. Do you think this is going to be tossed out in about 20 seconds here?
I don't think so. I think ultimately we're going to have to rely on the fact that it is a bad policy. It's bad for the American people, and that the Democrats need to realize that it's time to essentially start from scratch.
All right, Doctor, thank you very, very much. Appreciate your time, sir.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure. All right, Dr. Eric Novack, orthopedic surgeon, here on the Steve Malzberg Show, ladies and gentlemen. All right, when we come back, why has the media been dishonest? Oh my gosh, the media has been dishonest on the shooting in Colorado, and the FBI giving an excuse or a disclaimer to the airport guy in Kansas and Wichita. I got to tell you, what if I told you it turned out that classmates of the shooter in Colorado, the 18-year-old shooter from last Friday, called him a socialist and said he has very strong political beliefs, and on his Facebook page, reportedly, he trashes Republicans. What if this guy was a Tea Party member? That's all you would have heard. But a socialist who hates Republicans? Shh. And the FBI saying that this wannabe jihadist perverted a peaceful religion? It's their job to say that? Holy mackerel, we are in trouble in this country, and the media is not talking about it. I am, and that's what we'll talk about in the next segment. We'll have a long segment. We'll play you some sound bites, and if you're not outraged yet, you will be on the Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax TV and radio.
The Steve Malzberg Show.